Hey everybody, it's good to see you on this Tuesday night. We got a fun night planned. Going to do some digging into that brown mountain light mystery. Not sure how many of you guys are familiar with the brown mountain lights, but that mystery is as deep as you want it to be. And don't mind this guy just hanging out over my shoulder. He's a good guy. He's all right. But yeah, the brown mountain lights, the more you dig into it, the more you find. And I'll be honest, I got a bit overwhelmed with the whole thing, so I had to just kind of just pick some stuff. That's what we're going to do. If you guys can see me okay, if you can see, let's see. Well, what's this guy's name back here?
Spruce.
Apparently this guy's name's Spruce.
It's in the tray.
And that's Lake Ferry.
Hi.
Spruce and Lake Ferry.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys can see me okay, hear me okay, throw me a 5x5 there in the chat. And in the meantime, I will swing back by and say hello to everybody. We got some new faces in here and some new channels I want to tell you guys about. There is our good friend Cashew. It's good to see you. Cashew says, thanks to David Divine Broadcasted for letting me share this live stream in his Discord. David, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And I think a little later in the chat here, Cashew has David's link dropped in the chat. So please take a moment while we're getting things going and go over there and get subscribed to David. Thanks again, David. We appreciate that. And Cashew always says, thanks to Chuck C. for letting me share this live stream in his chat. All right. Chuck C is a good guy. That's Occam's razor, if you guys aren't familiar. So, and I think Chuck maybe is working on his backup channel right now. So, appreciate that, Chuck. Got our brother, the Nut House. Good to see you. Sweet, both of us nuts. Cashew and I support this.
Is that like bothering you?
No. We got our brother Sniffer. And Sniffer says, today is my birthday. Happy birthday, Sniffer.
Happy birthday.
Thanks for stopping by on your birthday. We appreciate it. Sunflower Prepper, good to see you as always. There's Harvest Mary Moon. How's it going tonight, Mary? Okay, and Cashew dropped Chuck C's new backup channel. By the way, appreciate the work you mods all do. Be hard to do this without you guys. Fortunate to be saved. Good evening. Good to see you. There's David. Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for stopping by and thanks for letting Cashew share this out. Appreciate that. There's our good friend Rose Young. How's it going tonight? Good to see you, Rose, as always. We got Shift Kicker who says, hey, all eating. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Good to see you, Shift. We got Lively Prepper says Bushcraft sent us. All right. Appreciate that, Bushcraft. Nice to have you with us tonight, Lively Prepper. We got Lisa Anderson. How's it going tonight? Speaking of another great mod. We got Equine Freedom Homestead. How's it going tonight? Good to see you as always. Bushcraft says, what's up? Good to see you, brother. Here come TJ. Good to see you. Good to see you. How's it going tonight? Equine says, I'll be careful. There's a Bigfoot. Behind you, Bigfoot. Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Tell her his name.
Bigfoot's name is Spruce, by the way. Grace Johnson says he's creeping me out. Hi. I don't know if she's talking about me or Spruce. Equine says he's cool looking Bigfoot. We had the privilege of going to the Sasquatch Festival this past weekend, and my wonderful wife, Miss Lake, she was not leaving without Spruce. So, welcome home, Spruce. Yeah, I think she's going to try to make some. Gigi, good to see you. Good to see you. We got Bubble Bibble. How's it going? We got some 7x7s coming in. All right, let me get caught up a little bit. Yes, and please sub to David. If If Cashew recommends him, I recommend him. Gigi Homestead, good to see you. There's Miss Crazy Irish. How's it going? Autumn Leaf, good to see you. Good to see you. Mr. Jeff, Bear Truth, how's it going tonight? Y'all don't forget to wish Sniffer happy birthday. Watt Life, how's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see. Am I getting caught up here yet? That is Miss Lake Fairy. We got Helen. Good to see you tonight, Helen. Let's see. I think we're getting, oh, we got one. We got Norma. Good to see you as always, Norma. Bushcraft says, wow. Wow to my wife. Wow, Lake. One Bigfoot isn't enough. You had to get another one.
I'm getting more.
And she says she'd get more.
I'm getting the whole family.
Yeah. All right. That officially catches us up. All right. So happy birthday, Sniffer. Good to have you guys with us. And just curious, before we even get started here, you guys in the chat, if you've heard of the Brown Mountain Lights, throw a 1 in chat. If you've never heard of the Brown Mountain Lights, put a 2 in the chat. I just want to get a feel for how new this is for people. Put a 1 if you've heard of the Brown Mountain Lights and know there's a mystery there, and put a 2 if this is new to you. Okay, Shift Kickers put a 2. So we got some 1s coming in, and we got a mixed bag here. Okay, that's good. That's good. Sometimes it's good to have a mystery presented for the first time, right? Probably some of you know a lot more about the brown lights than I do, because there's certainly a lot to dig through. So, Crazy Irish, I don't think you can do that. 1 and 2, come on. Let's see. And Watt Life says, be careful, there's a Bigfoot behind you. Indeed. Grace says, where's Brown Mountain at? Brown Mountain is in North Carolina. North Carolina. All right, that's Jeff's backyard. All right. So I put together a little bit of a slideshow to go along with this stream tonight. And I got a lot going on here on my screen, so if I get kind of out of sorts a bit, I apologize. We'll do the best I can here. So for centuries, this isn't a new mystery. For centuries, people have been vanishing. Yes, vanishing near the area of Brown Mountain in North Carolina. Some have connected these disappearances to a phenomenon known as the Brown Mountain Lights. We're going to see some pictures of these lights and talk about some different theories on these lights. The Brown Mountain Lights have been part of North Carolina folklore for centuries. They go way back. Now, whether they be Native American spirits, whether they be vapors igniting, whether they are simply reflections of light from vehicles, or something more sinister than we could ever even imagine. Could be any of those. But tonight, that's what we're going to take a look at. We're going to look into the mystery of these Brown Mountain Lights. So I'm going to play an intro that Miss Lake Fairy created. So here we go.
Look. Are those stars? Oh my god. Stars don't move like that.
Okay, what the hell? Hundreds of residents are reporting strange lights.
And my family is in danger.
Okay, yesterday you told us you traveled, and I quote, thousands of light years to get here. Chris. Tell us the truth or the word or another reader. It is truth. Or I fall off.
Yeah, that was a bit creepy. That's that intro was the brainchild of my wife with some assistance from my daughter. So I think they did a really good job on it. Like I said, the Brown Mountain Lights, they range from innocent natural explanation all the way to something really, really sinister. Wildlife's got a good comment there. Yeah, we went there as a kid. There are tons of crazy stories about Brown Mountain. Indeed there are. And there was actually a movie out a few years ago, I think 2015 or 12 or somewhere around there. It was, it's called Alien Abduction. And if you guys haven't seen that movie, some people, it's not something they're interested in. I personally found the movie Alien Abduction terrifying. I thought it was a phenomenal movie. It's one of those movies where it's the lost footage, where somebody's recorded things with the camera and they find this film. It's Alien Abduction. If you haven't seen that movie, highly, highly recommend it. Okay. Full Monty, good to see you. Good to see you. Tina Byers, how's it going? We got Chris McGrath in here. Who else slipped in here? If I missed you guys, I appreciate you guys being here. I think I saw Donna in here. CJ says she's never heard of Brown Mountain. All right. Yeah, the night house, exactly like that. Like the Blair Witch Project. Yep. Lost footage. Lost footage. So I'm going to start off by putting a slideshow up here. Hopefully this works okay.
Okay, first we slideshow.
As link slides past. But I want to give my wife a shout out for what she does. She helped me put together the pictures for this slideshow. She did that intro. She's been working with me on another project, and we'll probably introduce that here in a bit. Actually, Cashew, if you want, you can drop that link for the new project anytime you want. But this lady back here, she puts in a lot of time editing videos and getting things just right. You know, I can come up with a script of things, but she can take that. She can take this and put it into images, and she's just really good at it. And I just want to shout her out for a minute. Crazy Irish says she does an amazing job. I agree.
Thank you, but you do a better job at telling the stories.
No, I don't think so. I don't think. All right, so let me get this slideshow up on the screen here. Okay, that is Brown Mountain. That looks, that area of North Carolina, it looks a whole lot like where we live in the Adirondacks. You have the beautiful mountains covered with the trees. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And you have these lookouts where you can go up there and gaze out over these beautiful scenes. And this serene scene of peace and beauty holds a lot of mystery. There's different plaques that you can see when you get up there to the lookout points. Here's one, for example. Let me duck myself off this screen so you can read all that. Brown Mountain Lights, the long, even crested mountain in the distance is Brown Mountain. From early times, people have observed weird, wavering lights rise above this mountain, then dwindle and fade away. So that's this phenomenon is so documented and so well known that they have signs talking about it. They're on plaques. They're on billboards. They describe it because this has been passed down from a long time. Could be completely natural explanation, but that's the beauty of this mystery. It is a mystery. No, there's never been a rock solid answer to describe it. It's still, the mystery still remains, which is why we're talking about it tonight. Here's another one of the plaques up there on the overlook, and it goes on to describe the Brown Mountain Lights. These plaques aren't describing much of the beauty of the mountain. They're describing this phenomena of these lights. So if you live in that area, I would really appreciate it if anybody lives close to this area and they could go up to these overlooks or get some pictures of Brown Mountain and send them to my email. I would be really grateful for that. Really grateful. I know we have some people here that live in North Carolina, so that would be awesome. Now we start to go back to the history of where did this mystery, where did this legend of these Brown Mountain Lights even start? And like so many stories of the unknown that we talk about, we talk about Skinwalker Ranch, it goes right back to Native Americans. You talk about Bridgewater Triangle, it goes back to the Native Americans. Talk about the Wendigo, you talk about Sasquatch. These stories, they go back to the Native Americans. And this one is no different. It's no different. This goes back to not only the Cherokees. Yeah, that's right, Full Monty. Monty says the Cherokees, yep. But also the Catawba. It's Catawba. And there was a battle between those two tribes. And by the way, in the description of this stream, all of this information that I'm talking about tonight, as far as the Native Americans, and there's many of the things I'm going to be discussing tonight, I put links to in the description, so you guys can go dig into them as deep as you want. And trust me, it gets deep really fast. There's a lot there to talk about. So much. But according to Catawba, the Catawba Indians, Native Americans, these lights that are seen hovering over these mountains, dancing, they are the spirits of the Catawba women who are looking for their departed loved ones. That's one of the local legends. These lights moving around are the spirits of these women who are looking for their men who have died in battle. And the story goes back, and this story goes way back, and we're talking about to the 1200s. So before it was even the United States, and long before it was North Carolina. According to Catawba folklore, there's a story of a bitter battle between the Cherokees and the Catawba warriors, and it was right on this mountain in the 1200s. And both of the tribes, they lost many of their fine warriors. So there were dead warriors all over the battlefield. So during the evening, when it gets darker, their legend says that these Catawba women, they go out into the battleground with these torches in their hands, and they're looking for their dead husbands, their brothers, their fathers. So there's a deep history, a deep heritage to these stories. So when you go there to Brown Mountain and maybe you see these lights, some believe they are said to be spirits of those Catawba women. They're still searching for their loved ones after over 800 years. So that's a bit of the farthest back heritage that I could find. So I'm going to look at chat for just a minute. Monty says my ancestors are Cherokee from North Carolina. That is super cool. That is super cool. Lisa says I have a friend that lives one mountain over from Brown Mountain. That's good access. That's a good contact to have. And Cashew brings up a very relevant point. 1200s, that's before Monty was born. Yes, good point. See, Bear Truth says my pop came from Ashe County. Is Ashe County right there in that region, Jeff? Let's see. So it's usually towards the evening, especially in September and October. Like right now would be prime time to see the Brown Mountain lights. And the lights appear. Sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't. And they will appear and they'll move up, down for a few seconds, then disappear and reappear. Some witnesses have seen them shoot off to the side, shoot straight up into the air. And one thing about them is the lights can only be seen from a distance. It's like you can't catch up to them. You can't see the lights up close. And I want to show you guys a few pictures of these lights. What do you guys think about that? Now that's several pictures, I think, overlaid, but you can see the pattern. You can see the motion in those lights. And we're going to look at a few others here. I found that one completely fascinating. You can see the change of direction in this light. And these aren't like the northern lights, that you see up towards Alaska and towards the North Pole. These aren't like the Aurora Borealis. These are lights that kind of zip back and forth. And you can see the pattern there. It appeared, it moves, and then it's gone. It's a mystery. I've got some more pictures here. You can see that one just streaking off to the side. And it's why is this happening over this mountain? That's the question. Why is this happening over this mountain? Now, there's a lot of theories on what's going on here. We talked about the Native American connection and how it goes back in their folklore. There's stories of, and a lot of times this story gets pushed down because of the subject matter. But one of the most famous legends associated with this Brown Mountain and these lights, it talks about a plantation owner, and he was out hunting. He was hunting in the mountains, in the woods, and he got lost. And this plantation owners' slaves, they came out to look for him, and they were seen searching through the hills with lanterns. So the lights are their lanterns that they're carrying. And the legend has it that none of them ever returned. It's part of this history of people disappearing in this Brown Mountain area. Yeah, and Lisa says it's beautiful. It is very beautiful. It is very beautiful. I don't know if any of you guys are bluegrass fans. If you guys are bluegrass fans, throw me a 1 in the chat. I'm just curious, because this mountain and these disappearances, it's an inspiration of sorts to one of the really famous bluegrass song. And I threw the link to that bluegrass song in the description to this stream. The name of the song is The Legend of the Brown Mountain Lights. And it was written by Scott Wiseman, and that was back in the 1960s. So if you guys like bluegrass music, it's one of the links in the description of this stream. You can click it, and it'll take you to another YouTube video, and you can hear that song talking about the Brown Mountain Lights bluegrass style. So it's pretty cool stuff. This picture, you can see that the lights are not just located up in the sky. You can see some of these sightings of the Brown Mountain Lights are actually, you see them down there on the mountain. It's like they're coming from the mountain. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Another one of the local legends that came out in the 1800s, around 1850. It was of a woman who had disappeared, and many thought that her husband had killed her. And almost everybody in the community, they gathered together and joined in this search. And they were out looking for her on this dark night. And while they're searching, the Brown Mountain Lights appeared. And some of the searchers thought, they're looking for this woman. So they associated these lights with the dead woman's spirit, come back to haunt her murderer, that sort of thing, and to warn the searchers to stop looking for her. It says the search ended without a trace of her body. And here's the other part. A large group of searchers disappeared themselves. See how the stories are kind of similar? Somebody goes missing, people go out looking, and more people end up missing. That's all part of this. It's all part of this amazing, amazing legend. I thought this one was pretty fascinating. If you see that almost looks like headlights shining up through the woods, but there's no roads there. There's no roads there. So again, mystery, a mysterious light. Now, where's that coming from? Where's that coming from? That one kind of looks like I don't know, just random light appearing and disappearing. And these pictures have been taken over many, many years, many years. So I'll ask you guys another question. Have you guys ever seen any lights like this? Maybe not just at Brown Mountain. I mean, there's mountains everywhere. There's wilderness everywhere. Have you guys ever seen any lights like this that just appear and move? I have to say that we certainly have. We definitely have. We live very close, like very, very, very close to mountains. And my wife, she's outside at night a lot. She goes out a lot, and she sees a lot of things. And when she sees something odd, she'll yell, and I'll run out and we'll look. She has seen lights that almost look like planes that just disappear into our mountain. It's just mystery. It's just mystery.
Whole planes disappear during the night.
Yeah, we were actually out back having a fire one night, and we started tracking a light that was moving in the sky that kind of just showed up, and it did the exact same thing. It wasn't moving like a plane, and it certainly wasn't a star. They don't move this fast. We actually got a recording of it. We got it on video. This light just took a nosedive right down towards the earth.
They saw that one in Vermont.
Yeah, and there are also reportings of that same night that not too far away in the state of Vermont, there was sightings of that same light that same night. So it wasn't anything that was just us. Lisa says yes, on Brown Mountain. I would love to camp out up there for a night. Autumn Leaf says my son saw some in Texas. All right. Kaishu says there were just some strange lights in Colorado. She dropped a link to that. Very cool, very cool. Harvest Mary Moon, over the water here on the coast of North Carolina to the Outer Banks. All right, so same state, just a little bit further away. Shift Kicker, only the Aurora lights, yeah. Crazy Iris says, yes, I have in the Bridgewater Triangle near me. And you want to talk about a eerie place, the Bridgewater Triangle, the Hockomock Swamp. That's a pretty creepy place. Let's see. Lisa says, didn't see it, but have pictures from a field camera. Yeah, and that's how many of these sightings of these lights, because it's hit or miss. You could look for these lights for a long time and not see them. So there are some houses that are in that vicinity, and what they do is they set up cameras on the rooftops of some of these houses, and that's how a lot of these pictures got captured. It's really cool. Cindy says, we have here in Ohio too. I also have heard of lights in Ohio. Now, I'm originally from Ohio, and I've heard of the ghost light type thing in the Salt Fork area. I've also heard of that in Ohio. Lively Prepper, I've seen similar lights in Texas. Yep. Lisa says they have a camping area up there, Bigfoot, and a bluegrass festival every year. That's kind of neat. That was the inspiration of that bluegrass song. Charlotte says we have ghost lights near Springfield, Missouri. Very interesting. And that's, a lot of people refer to these lights as ghost lights, because just the mysteriousness of them. Harvest Mary Moon, yes, Bridgewater Triangle is scary. Yeah, it's very creepy. Lake says, I think these lights are connected to cryptids for sure and the missing. So many times when, like, we talk to a lot of people, we like Bigfoot, so we run into some interesting characters, and a lot of the people that we talk to, they say the same thing. A lot of the mysterious things you see on the ground is associated with mysterious things that happen simultaneously in the air. Lori's World, good to see you. Good to see you. Crazy Iris says, anyone want to come and visit? I can give you a tour of the Bridgewater Triangle. I know it well. Crazy Iris grew up there. She's got some stories too. Let's see. Tina says, my son has coming home from Florida. I think it was Kentucky. Also, same area, huge bat got stuck in his truck grill. Interesting. Cindy says, we go to Salt Fork every year. Very spooky at night. Yes, it is. We were at Salt Fork a few weeks ago. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Harvest Berry Moon says, lights are energy from people, I think. That's what a lot of these legends are kind of based off of, is they think it could be the spirits of people looking for lost loved ones. That's the thing about the unexplained. It lends itself to a lot of that. When you can't just explain something away, and they've tried with these lights. I'll tell you, they've tried to explain these lights away. Scientists have theories upon theories, but many of them don't pan out. Like, one of the theories was that these lights were reflections from the nearby towns, the bigger towns. But that can't be, because those towns weren't even settled those towns weren't settled when these lights were already seen. The lights were before those towns, so it couldn't be reflections from those towns. Other times they try to say it's reflections from the headlights from vehicles driving on the roads around the area. But that got debunked because there was they had a bad episode of flooding that washed out a lot of the roads in this immediate vicinity around here. And even though there wasn't any vehicle traffic that could get back in there, the lights remained. So it's not reflections of headlights. It's not reflections from the local towns. It's been debunked. It's not it. It's not it. So let's keep going here. This is it was kind of a neat little thing I found. We can read it real quick. Let me duck off screen here. Okay, it says the phenomenon of the Brown Mountain Lights has puzzled observers for centuries. The earliest known accounts are based in Indian lore from the early 1700s. In 1913, the U.S. Geological Survey studied the lights and concluded that they were the headlights of locomotives. See, they thought they had it. A few years later, a flood inundated the valley and stopped movement over the railways. When the lights continued to appear, the skeptics had a field day at the expense of science. Another study in 1922 by the Geological Survey concluded that the lights came from a variety of sources: automobiles, nearby towns, and brush fires. Scientists explained that at sundown, the peaks and valleys produce unstable air currents that refract or bend light rays. A light from the valley beyond Brown Mountain may be bent skyward away from its source. What do you guys think? Does that make any sense? The last part. Questions continue to be raised. Are the lights caused by phosphorus, UFOs, radium ore deposits, or marsh gas, sometimes called the elusive will-o'-the-wisp? So many theories to these Brown Mountain Lights. And every time when science thinks they've got it figured out, they don't. Maybe one day. But until that day happens, you're going to have things like this. And this newspaper actually goes back to July of 1962. Brown Mountain Lights remain a mystery to viewers. And that's the Asheville Citizen Times. That's front page. No. This is important stuff. It's like people were genuinely concerned of these Brown Mountain Lights. This is a huge article in this local newspaper. Let's see. Okay, this article had me very interested because it says the search adds to the mystery of the Brown Mountain Lights. And I tried reading this, but I couldn't make most of it out. So I did some digging and I actually found a transcript of this article. And I'll leave this picture up on the screen, but I want you guys to hear what this says. It's very interesting. It's the full text from this Asheville Citizen news story. And this was from August 13th of 1962. It says, search adds to mystery of Brown Mountain Lights. And it says Morganton, North Carolina. It says a 47-year search for the source of the famed Brown Mountain Lights may be near an end, but it appears there may be a bigger mystery to solve. Paul Rose, a Jonas Ridge nurseryman, said a dozen men stood on a tower atop Brown Mountain Wednesday night and watched the fabled lights flash out of nearby crevices. So he's saying the lights are coming out of the mountain. He says they came in circles of about 3 feet in diameter, said Rose, who is leading the current expedition with hopes to solve the mystery. The lights were in colors of red, orange, and colors of the moon. One of the lights came to rest on the men on the tower. So these men, they put together this tower on Brown Mountain, climbed it so they could see things, and one of these lights rested upon them. It gave them a static-like feeling of dizziness. When they climbed to the ground, they were unable to stand up. Rose said of the 12 men atop the 50-foot tower, 11 felt the sense of dizziness. The other felt nothing. Rose said he believes the lights are radioactive or contain some magnetic element. The light seemed to come through the trees, down the mountain, under a cliff, and back up again, he said. Rose said he is anxious to get the opinion of a professional geologist who may be able to determine why the lights would make people dizzy. Rose and scores of volunteers carried lumber up the mountain last Monday and erected the tower so that viewers could look down into the crevices from which the lights appeared to come. I still don't know that the lights are coming from the crevice, Rose said Thursday, but if the weather stays good, I believe we'll be able to find out. Brown Mountain lies about 12 miles east of Highway 181 near Jonas Ridge. Rose said the lights are visible about 10 p.m. and again about 3 a.m. from the highway. He said hundreds of people had visited the area and seen the lights. But Rose, whose mountain nursery is located nearby, said he has been viewing them for nearly 40 years. So that's the text of that article that's up there on the screen right there. Interesting stuff. This guy's saying that the lights are coming out of crevices in the mountain. So whatever that could end up being. There's many more theories. We've explored some of the history of the Native American theories, the spirits of the lost. We've looked at some of the natural theories coming out of the mountain. So let's keep going, because this is when it gets a little bit, this starts to lean a little bit more towards the sinister side. Because I'm sure most of you guys have heard of Project Blue Book. Project Blue Book, it was established in 1952, and the sole purpose was to receive people's UFO encounters, their reports, and to see if there was any validity to them. It was the U.S. Air Force established Project Blue Book. It was to document, but it was mostly to debunk. It was mostly to debunk UFO phenomenon. They even had a questionnaire where you had to answer certain questions, and then you turn it in. So the two goals of Project Blue Book: to determine if UFOs were a threat to national security, and to scientifically analyze UFO-related data. I think it says something about the scope of this mystery when you have this organization from the U.S. Air Force, Project Blue Book. They took on the Brown Mountain Light case. They took it. They launched an investigation into the Brown Mountain Lights. The Air Force classified the Brown Mountain Lights as unexplained. They couldn't. The Air Force, the government, they could not come up with an explanation to this. And another interesting note about the findings of the Project Blue Book investigation into the Brown Mountain Lights: most of the Project Blue Book studies of all the UFO cases, they were released to the public under the Freedom of Information Act. Not the Brown Mountain Lights. It wasn't released. The Brown Mountain Lights study by Project Blue Book, it remains classified. It remained classified. And Project Blue Book ran from 1952 to 1969. And then, according to them anyway, Project Blue Book was shut down. So that's part of that sinister side of the Brown Mountain Lights. Could it be? Could these lights be unidentified? Well, they are an unidentified flying object of sorts, I guess you would say. But I mean, are they UFOs? Who knows? The mystery and the fact that they can't pin it down to anything natural, anything that's coming from man as far as lights reflected, headlights, it just leads to that. People's imaginations, they run wild with things. Grace says our government allowed them to take humans and do experiments on them. I don't doubt that you're wrong.
That's what I think.
Let's see. Ark says there's a link. That link is to the Dover lights. Okay. Hey, wow, man. Good to see you, brother. So Ark dropped a link right there, the mystery of the Dover lights. I haven't looked too much into that one, but it's probably very similar to this. Probably very similar. TH2, good to see you. Good to see you. See, Cindy says stories do exist of underground cities. That would be like the lights coming out of the mountain, right? That's the kind of thing that it just opens up the imagination. You know, they can't explain it, so your mind automatically goes to these places. Like, what could this possibly be? What could it possibly be? Do you guys have any thoughts? I mean, as far as the Brown Mountain lights, you guys in the chat there, do any of you guys have any thoughts as to what these lights could be? And thank you for sharing that, Cashew. And Cashew just put in the chat, this is me and my wife, Lake's new project. It's a channel that is, yes, with the guidance and assistance of our good friend Cashew. That new channel there on the screen that Cashew just dropped the link to, that channel is dedicated to the mysterious. It's dedicated to cryptids. It's dedicated to the unknown. And we've got a couple videos on there so far, and we'll be adding to it as we go, but it's on the ground level of its growth right now. So if you guys are interested in the stories of the unknown, even Bigfoot, Mothman, cryptids, we're going to be doing a lot of things like that. So check it out if that's something you're interested in. We'll probably even be talking about this Project Blue Book that we're referring to right now. I found it fascinating in this research for the Brown Mountain Lights that Project Blue Book took the time to investigate the Brown Mountain Lights. And when the Freedom of Information came out, they released so many reports of all these UFOs and debunking. But one of the things that he did not release was their report on the Brown Mountain Lights. Again, that's just, why not release it? Why not release that information? It just opens up people's imaginations. And this ends up with what you end up with from that. And I don't know whether you guys have seen this movie or not, but this movie, which this is just a still picture from the movie. It's called Alien Abduction. And this movie, this is the one that I didn't know much about the Brown Mountain Lights. This movie, it really got my interest piqued because it takes all of that mystery where they can't explain it, and it can't be just brushed away naturally, and it takes it. It's fictional, but it's based on the Brown Mountain Lights. It's filmed much like the Blair Witch Project, where they have the footage where they're carrying the camera around. I think the young boy in this movie is autistic, and he films everything. And this movie, to me anyway, was creepy on a whole new level. So if you guys haven't seen that movie, Alien Abduction, I think it was 2012. Highly recommend it. It's, as far as its creep factor, it's way up there. It's way up there. Yeah, here's another one. Lively Prepper. I believe it's all linked to angels, fallen angels, and the Nephilim. I don't doubt it one bit. I don't doubt it one bit. You know, there's a lot of dark things in this world, right? Yep. That's a good point. And Cindy brings up a good point too. Well, if you go there, take God along. Amen to that. All right.
He knows what's going on.
What's that?
I said, God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We might not know what's going on, but we know he does. I think that's the end of the slideshow. Let me get rid of that. There we go. If you guys are just joining, we just finished our slideshow, and this, what's his name? This is Spruce. He's my wife's pet Bigfoot. Spruce. We like I said earlier, we had the pleasure of going to the Sasquatch Festival this past Saturday, and Spruce came home with us. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Let's see. Just looking at chat for a minute. Let's see. All right. I appreciate you guys subbing to the new channel. We named the new channel Bigfoot Lake, and I give 100% total credit of that name. I'm backwards here to this person. Cashew is a good friend and very smart, very smart. So, yeah, because like my wife said, the people who know me and her, they will know it's us. But for any new subscribers that come along, Bigfoot Lake just sounds like a mysterious place. So, like I said, we got a couple videos on there with my wife's phenomenal video productions and me reading or me narrating. So we have an introduction video on there, and we have this story of the Mothman so far, and we'll be dropping at least one video, maybe a couple of videos a week. We'll see how it goes. Again, I don't want to break my video producer back there. Appreciate you, Cashew, very much. Lisa, thank you. All right, and if you guys, I still want to do Tuesday night cryptid live streams on this channel. We're going to keep doing that. I need some ideas on different mysterious topics to talk about, though. See, Grace has a question. So does this continue to happen there? Yes, the Brown Mountain Lights have never stopped. They still continue to this day. Yep. Good question. Let's see. Yeah, if you guys, we had some suggestions last week. What was the one? Fresno night crawlers. I think I'm going to look into that one. There's some others, but if you guys have any other, I got to put this up there. Cashew Gesundheit is pretty awesome, but don't tell her I said that. Charlotte says, thank you for sharing interesting info about the Brown Mountain Lights. And Cashew, you are a good friend. Yes, she is. And here you go. If you have any thoughts, any stories of the unknown, maybe you have your own story. Maybe you already have your own story of something you've personally experienced. On the new channel, we would like to hear those, and because I would like to share them, because the premise of the new channel, Bigfoot Lake, is that Bigfoot Lake is just the home of the mysterious and the home of the misunderstood, and we're just sitting there around Bigfoot Lake, and we're telling these stories of these mysterious creatures. So if you guys have anything that you've experienced in your life, maybe something you've seen, something you've heard, send me an email here. My email is up there on the screen, bigfootprepper@gmail.com. Would love to hear it, and would love to feature on the new channel. And we'll put it to my wife will put it to video production. So let's see. Bear says, Bigfoot, read the book of Carolina Ghost. I read a lot, brother. Harvest Mary says, campfire stories. Kind of like that, but it's just, sitting around the lake and just.
There's nature sounds.
Lake's got nature sounds going in the background, like frogs and stuff like that. Just if you go to the channel and you just watch the introduction, that's the scene that we're going for with that. Cindy, that's very true. Some of us have friends that actually have ghosts living in their home. I would be doing everything I could to get that sucker out of there. I can tell you that. All right, it's just getting weird up in here now.
Where it's weird, you're gonna find me.
Cashew says, the full Monty, that's why you gave me a noogie and nut tagged me. LOL. Yep, it's weird.
Yeah, I got my 2 Bigfoots.
My name's Spruce.
No, your name's.
No, his.
Oh, yeah.
His.
Yeah, it's Spruce.
Yeah. If you guys just some more information, I just wanted to let you guys know. My wife, she's been doing a lot of artwork lately, and she's putting that on her channel too. So go over and do you have a playlist set up for that?
For what?
For your art?
A playlist for art?
Yeah. Is it on the community tab?
I need more wood and I need more paint so I can mass produce, but this is what.
Oh yeah.
This one's yours.
This is something that she painted. That's pretty cool. I love the texture of the wood being the sky and the water. That was phenomenal. Very good job.
And I have this critter.
Oh, and she also got this guy from the Sasquatch Festival. What's his name?
We have 2. They don't have names yet.
All right.
I'm still thinking on that.
Who knows?
And don't forget Gramps Squatch.
Oh yeah, and here's a painting that she did. She calls it Gramp Squatch.
Yeah, but that one was just playing around with it.
He's kind of hidden back in the wilderness there.
It's hilarious.
He's got a cool face.
That one was just messing around.
Well, you got some good feedback on your artwork here in the chat, so
thank you.
Appreciate the encouragement, guys. With all of it, we've been doing this YouTube thing for a few years now. We've had our ups and downs, but all of you guys in the chat right now, you guys have always been there. You've always supported, and we appreciate you guys.
Also, go check out Here Comes TJ. She's got artwork out too.
That's true. That's true. Mm-hmm. Very true. That's true. What other channels do we need to be dropping? Cashew, anybody? If you want to drop any channels, feel free. Can you drop, is it David's channel one more time, Cashew? And then drop Chuck C's backup channel. Full Monty says, is Gramp Squatch doing the Squatchy Shuffle? He may be. He may be. Very possible. Ragnar, good to see you. Sunflower Prepper, good to see you. Be Charming, good to see you. Have a great night. Catch up later. Great show as usual. Appreciate that, CJ. All right, and there is David's channel. David is friends with Cashew, and
He's nice.
Lake says he's nice, and he's allowing Cashew to help promote other people's channel on his social media. So I'll put it that way. And there's Chuck C's backup channel. So that's Occam's Razor.
To support, not get promoted.
Right. So go show some love to everybody. And I want to thank, okay, Cashew says it's his Discord. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us for a bit. Brown Mountain Lights. Check them out. We just scratched the surface of the Brown Mountain Lights. It's a deep topic. And maybe that's something we can get into on another stream. Maybe we'll do a video of the Brown Mountain Lights on the other channel, Bigfoot Lake, but that's weird.
That's kind of like a weird hand. Like
Yeah.
An alien.
Yeah. So you guys have a great night, and we'll catch you guys on the next one somewhere, sometime. So see you, everybody.